Welcome to Sundays Live. I hope you all had a great weekend. I hope you're chilling and relaxing today, and you can just sit back and enjoy and wind down with me as I go through a few stories. We are definitely going to talk about the different world reboot a little bit, but I just wanted to share a few stories with y'all. And so, yeah. So, again, hope you had a great weekend. And if you have to go to work tomorrow, do what you need to do. Do what you need to do right now to just try to get yourself in the right mindset to go to work tomorrow. But you may be looking forward to going to work tomorrow. You may be excited about it. But we're going to jump into a few stories, and we're going to start out with a story of the Oklahoma man who beat up a disabled janitor at a strip club. So let me just share with you all my screen so we can take a look. Just 1 second here. All right.
Welcome to another episode of FAFO. Okay? If you don't know what that is, imagine going to a strip club in Oklahoma and you just mad at the world. You want to get some steam off, so you think you're going to see some nice girls. Well, apparently the strip club don't want you neither. So you walk out the strip club and you start with a janitor. Why you start with a janitor, you ask? Because that's the only person that looks like they're in a worse predicament than you. Apparently the janitor is developmentally disabled. So you say, I probably got a shot with this and I'm going to go home with a win. Let me introduce you to Mr. Kai Kendall. Lawrence Kai Kendall thought it was okay to go down to a strip club and start with the janitor because he thought he was a free pick. Well, that janitor whipped out his Kung Fu spirit grip and he whooped his ass all up and down that goddamn parking lot and strip club. Police came and said they ain't had to do nothing but goddamn put the cuffs on him and take him to jail. And they couldn't wait to take this goddamn picture. Why would you go down there and start with that man in his job? He up there cleaning up and making sure that the place is nice for the people who come in there to participate. And you think that you will get a free pick? That janitor whooped his ass with everything attached to that muck bucket. And that's good for your ass too. And now you got to explain for the next couple of weeks how you was just picking on somebody who was disabled. And they whooped your ass too. I'm just here to bring y'all the news. I'm just a messenger. Welcome to another episode
Now
of
that is for sure FAFO. And I went to online because I said, let me just see. Is this I just want backup. And this is actually a real story. This is the same picture you just saw in the clip. And Oklahoma City police arrested a man after he allegedly tried to attack a mentally disabled strip club janitor with a knife. Let's see. Why you go up into the strip club with a knife and then you try to attack the mentally disabled man who works at the strip club? According to authorities, Lawrence, whatever that last name is, was identified on camera on August 2nd, 2025, calling the janitor at Bear Assets a racial slur and then charging at him with a knife. Police say the janitor hit this crazy ass man right here with a broom, then jumped on him and started beating him. The man who tried to attack the strip club employee was taken to a local hospital for medical attention and then booked into jail for assault and battery with a dangerous weapon and racial harassment. So yeah, that is definitely a FAFO because he went into the strip club, tried to attack anybody, but tried to attack the disabled employee, the janitor. And as you can see from this picture, that did not go well for him. The janitor definitely whooped his ass. And this definitely seems like an ass whooping that he fully deserved. So let's go to our next story here. And
what are your thoughts on Shannon Sharp getting fired by ESPN after settling his case with his ex?
Goody. Goody. Was that a little worth all that money?
Right. Oh.
See, Shannon Sharp suffers from the same thing that Dennis Rodman suffered from.
What's that?
I'm ugly, but I made it anyway.
You think Shannon's ugly?
Yes.
He has a really nice
You have to admire his body because he wears his clothes so obviously tight.
Right.
It's a little sus, if you ask me.
Yeah.
And his little dog.
Wait, he's got a little dog?
Yeah, you remember he was wearing a mysteriously tight outfit.
First of all, Shannon don't care nothing about me. I don't care nothing about Shannon. I say what I want. Shannon Sharp, we tried to get on your show when he was popular. He didn't want me. Back then, they didn't want me. Now he's losing and he's all up on me. Want me to do the show. I'm not doing it, Shannon.
Talk your talk, Lunel.
Yeah. I said what I said.
All right.
What are your thoughts on Shannon Sharp getting fired
Lunel
by
is
ESPN
goes
after
down on
settling?
that and the way she feels about it. And I think I heard someone say that, Shannon may try to do similar to what is his name? What is his name, y'all? The actor who recently got in trouble and now he's with Megan Good. Why can I not remember his name? But he did the tried and tested. I don't want to say tried and true approach, where you get into trouble. You're a black male entertainer, and you get in trouble with a woman who's not black. And then you show up months later with a black woman, you're in a relationship, almost like it's a PR campaign or some type of recovery campaign. And it just made me, even though this is a totally different situation, because Lunel is saying you didn't want to mess with me at all until you started going through rough times, and then you wanted to mess with me. So she doesn't have any feelings for him at all. She's calling the man ugly. Now, I don't know if that's what actually happened with Lunel and Shannon or not. And the reason why I say that, if Shannon Sharp could have, what is it, Mendici from Love and Hip Hop on Club Shay Shay, he most certainly could have Lunel. And I've seen other people on there, not the caliber of Lunel at all. So maybe it's some other reason why she wasn't booked when she was trying to get booked on his show. Maybe it wasn't how she's taking it, because she clearly is not taking it in a kind way at all, because she called a man ugly and said she ain't really gonna F with him now, because now he just want to F with her because now he down. I don't know. I predict we might see Lunel in the future on Club Shay Shay. They'll probably try to work this out. Shannon might even want to do it, because just even with her saying this publicly, it might make for a good show and for good ratings. And I'm sure he would love to try to capture that magic in the bottle he had with the Cat Williams interview. So who knows? We'll see how that works out. Okay, moving on.
I feel like this is me and you in that kitchen all over again.
Oh, Lord.
What's a red flag in someone else's kitchen?
You ain't right.
Okay.
You ain't right.
What's a red flag?
What's a red flag? When you walk in the kitchen, it's in somebody else's kitchen, you about to eat, and it's a red, like, ooh, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do this here.
Oh, I'm gonna say something that's gonna make people mad.
It's okay.
Say it, Emerald.
Now, y'all, drop in the comments what might be some of your red flags. If you walk into somebody's kitchen and you're like, I'm not going to be able to do it. But let's see what they say.
If you have a cat, I'm not eating
Girl,
it.
you took it out. You took it out of my brain.
If you have a cat, I'm not hungry.
I'm not about to eat.
Dog can't get up there.
Cats do what they want.
That cat be up there doing the Harlem Shake when you ain't at home.
My God.
Making biscuits.
I apologize to the cat community.
Yeah,
I'm
really
sorry,
sorry.
cat people.
I apologize.
You say if you got a cat,
I'm not eating it.
I be with you.
it's a unanimous situation too.
I imagine coworkers have cats. You have cats at home, don't you? You bring the stuff to the potluck.
Ooh, child.
I'm not hungry.
If I had ever seen your picture of your cat on Facebook.
Because y'all both let the cat do anything you want.
Baby, that cat
be in there making cereal.
You
Maybe
don't
that
have
cat
a choice.
in
They
the
do what they
refrigerator.
Let me tell y'all something. That thing about a cat and your coworker, story time. Story time. Years and years and years and years ago, I worked with this lady. Let's call her Betty. That is not her real name. Let's call her Betty. Betty had a cat. All right. And so Betty already didn't want to eat anything from the potluck from Betty, because I had seen Betty on more than one occasion in the ladies' restroom walk straight out the stall and straight out the door without washing her hands. So it was already a no for me with Betty. But Betty was the type who always wanted to bring stuff to the potluck that she had to cook. And I say that because there's always room for people to bring. You could bring paper cups, paper plates. You could bring something that's already like baked or something you could buy from the grocery store, whatever. You yourself don't have to cook, but Betty liked to cook. So Betty was telling us during one of these lunch hour things at work that she had a cat that was sick. And whatever the cat had, I cannot remember. I don't know if it was some type of cancer the cat had or whatever, but whatever the cat had an issue where it would be bleeding, right? And so she told us about how she would lay towels out on her bed and let the cat sleep with her at night in the bed. Now keep in mind, now I've already watched Betty go into the restroom, leave straight out of the bathroom, not wash her hands at all. Plus now you got a bleeding cat that you're sleeping with in your bed. And you've told us stories about how your cat jumps up on your counter and how your cat one time got into your hamburger meat and was eating your hamburger. Now, I'm not suggesting everybody that has a cat don't know what to do with these cats, but I'm just saying when they said that a red flag to stop you from eating at someone's house or eating somebody's food is a cat, I got to say I agree with that.
Oh. I feel like this is me and you.
And so you know me. I definitely want to go a little bit further. I said, okay, let me see. Am I just being biased against these cats? Maybe it's not, any kind of reason to really be overly concerned about it. So let's just check out. I just Googled simply like what is there any concerns about cats and cooking to see what was on the internet about it. And you can see here from Google, it just says, yes, cats can introduce potential sanitary concerns in a kitchen, particularly when it comes to food preparation areas like countertops. Bacteria and parasites from paws. Cats walk on surfaces that can harbor germs, including their litter box. When they jump on counters, they can track these bacteria and parasites onto surfaces where food is prepared. Cat hair, saliva, or even dander containing allergens can transfer to food, utensils, cutting boards, and other cooking surfaces, potentially leading to allergic reactions or minor digestive issues for sensitive individuals. Cats might accidentally ingest foods or cleaning products that are toxic to them while on counters, posing a danger to their health. Cats are drawn to the smells of cooking food, and their curiosity can lead them to jump onto counters and potentially interfere with cooking, increasing the risk of contamination or accidents. So, y'all, for me, and I have family members who have cats, I'm just not really feeling it. I'm just not really feeling it. Because you know what? If you have a dog, one thing you don't have to worry about is your dog jumping up on the counter when you're cooking and walking on the surfaces where you prepare food. You don't have to worry about that. I'm just saying you don't have to worry about that. All right. So let's move on to our next story here. And I know some of y'all are cat lovers, so I know if you want to come at me in the comments for not speaking nicely or you don't like what I said about your cats, then you can feel free to drop in the comments anything you want to say in defense of your cats. I'm okay with it. Okay, moving on to the next story.
Born August 5th, 1932 in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Janae Dubois is best known for her recurring role in the sitcom Good Times, where she played the Evans' neighbor, Winona Woods, a fun-loving girl who occasionally loved to gossip and was Florida Evans' best friend. Extra, hear all about it. But after a few years on the show, Dubois felt stuck. All she was doing was opening.
You know what? When they say Janet Dubois, who's the actress who played Winona, felt stuck. I recall watching this show and thinking, why are you living in the ghetto? Now, this is me when I was young, so of course, I probably didn't have any real idea of like real life situations. But the reason why I can remember thinking that when I would see Walona on Good Times is because she was always fly. She was always fly. Her hair, her clothes, her apartment, the little bit we did see of it was nice. And I was like, now why are you still here in this terrible situation? Like, why can't you move out the hood? Now, again, that was me as a young kid thinking that, probably not understanding a whole lot. But I used to always wonder when I was a kid, why is Walona stuck here in this hood where they got these fights going on? They can't get the elevator ain't working, all kind of stuff going on. Why is it going on? Because when you look at her, Walona looked fly and like she had all her ish together. Don't look like there was no struggle at all. So it was just like, girl, what you doing still in the hood? You single? You don't have any kids? What? Why are you there? All right, let's see. I don't know. Like I said, it could be me just being younger and not understanding.
The front door, saying a few lines, and then walking back out.
That's a new cologne, isn't it, JJ?
Oh, yeah, Ma. How'd you guess? The house plants are drying up.
She wanted more to do, and so she went to series developer Norman Lear and told him just that, I need something to do. According to Dubois, Lear asked what she could do talent-wise aside from acting. Janae told him that she could do most anything, sing, write, paint. Upon telling Lear she was also a songwriter, he was incredulous, but told her he was working on a new show about a dry cleaner and to see if she could come up with something for that. Despite being a talented singer, having several stints on Broadway, Dubois struggled writing lyrics that could fit the show Lear was working on. She consulted her mother, who told her to write about something that she'd always wanted to do and had done, give her mom a better life, specifically by moving her out of the projects in Brooklyn to a nicer, fancier life in the east side of New York. When Dubois returned to Lear with the song lyrics, he was shocked, asking her how she'd found out about the storyline of the show. Janae said she had no prior knowledge, just that the lyrics were personal to her. And not long after, Janae and composer Jeff Barry got into the studio to make the theme song a reality. And on January 18th, 1975, audiences would hear Janae sing one of the most popular American theme songs.
And, thinking about Good Times, no matter if you grew up during the time where Good Times, the Jeffersons, Sanford and Son, all of those things were either around or they were the replays, the repeats, definitely were still on, and you kind of watched that. You grew up watching it, or your parents was watching it. Do you feel like that was like a golden era of TV for Black sitcoms? Now, I'm not saying let's not do think pieces on what all was wrong with Good Times. Just saying for what it was if you were you're old enough to have consumed this like as a younger person, or you might have even not, because I have nephews who are in their 20s because their parents are older. They've watched probably every Good Times episode, every Sanford and Son episode. But would you consider that like a golden era, if you will, of like
to date
sitcoms, Black sitcoms?
Born.
I don't know any, definitely Gen Xer who does not know the Jeffersons theme song, because how could you not? Fish don't fry in the kitchen, beans don't burn on the grill. Took a whole lot of trying just to get up that hill. Now we're up in the big leagues. Come on. Come on. You got to know that. If you don't know that, it's almost like, I don't know, especially if you're a Gen Xer and you don't know that. Come on. All right, let's move to the next story. In a special way, yeah. VIP. Y'all, there's a whole video on my channel about whatever's going on with Maxwell in this era. But it's not just him. The R&B artists who are now getting older are really looking like unks. And not necessarily in a good way. It's like, oh my It's like, do you see what you're looking like? And so it also might make some of us say, do we look, are we looking like that? When we think we're dancing and we're cutting up and we're taking our stuff, we really getting it in. Are we looking like this? Is this what we are looking like in this era of our lives? Is it?
Light my fire. Give me when you get up. Give me when you give me when you give me when you get up.
It just looks stank to me. It looks so stank to me. I'm like, why? And Kenny Lattimore, when did you start doing this? Why are you doing this? It's almost like with Maxwell. I'm like, oh my God, how did you go from a heartthrob to what is this? What music do you have that requires you to even do all of this? And then it looked like, I don't even want to say it. It looked like it's some of the videos, like they're not wearing things they should be wearing as undergarments. So that just makes things even look you just look stank out here. What are y'all doing? Have y'all seen that? Have y'all seen this? Look at Kenny Lattimore. VIP. Maxwell, what? Johnny Gill, what? What? I don't even really know. Who is this? Anthony Hamilton, why? Genuine, oh Lord, and Keith Sweat, Lord, why? Y'all, I don't know what all this is about, but I need the unks to see themselves. I don't think they see themselves. Enjoy life, but oh my God, how they think they're looking doing these dances is not how they're looking, is what I'm saying. That's all. It's what I'm saying. Because why? I mean, why? Unks, keep sweating. No. Kenny Lattimore, since when? What? And Maxwell, no. And Johnny Gill, no. Okay, on to the next story.
Baby, did y'all see this caption that Tina put on one of these posts? Let's read, shall we? So she took time to big up Beyonce and talk about her accomplishments, but then she goes into what Beyonce does not do. She made a commitment to work hard.
Okay, so Tina Knowles has put a post out, and it's a very, very long post defending Beyonce again. And I'm assuming this is connected to all the stuff that's been in the media lately with people talking about Beyonce's culture appropriating with Marilyn Monroe look with the Levi jeans. I think a lot of haters have something to say about Beyonce and the Levi jeans because of that debacle going on over there with what is it? Oh, with Sweeney and that ad for American Eagle and everything that's going on with that. And I want to do if I still feel like it, I don't know, but I want to do such a separate video on the whole American Eagle and Sweeney ad thing, because y'all, that is something that company intentionally did just to get up their stock, they increase their sales, and it has worked. So that's why I'm like, I'm not up in arms about it. Is it eugenics? Is it race baiting? And are they trying to be slick with being racist in their ad? Absolutely. But it is nothing, in my opinion, for us to get up in arms about, because that's what they want us to do. Because if you look at any of the business reports around American Eagle since that Sweeney ad went in, their stock has shot up, way up. So they got out of it exactly what they wanted to get out of it. So sometimes I think it'll be best for us to like ignore when they do stuff like that. And it's hard to say when to ignore and when not to ignore. But the American Eagle got out of that Sweeney ad exactly what they wanted. But nevertheless, the timing of all of that compared with, Beyonce's launch with Levi and all of that kind of coincided a bit. So I feel like there was a lot of people who were like, oh, so y'all going to talk about Sweeney and y'all going to talk about the American Eagle ad and y'all going to act like that's an issue, a race issue. So we're going to say Beyonce is a race issue. So I think Tina Knowles saw all of that. And she just said, you know what? This is going to be one of those days. This is going to be one of those days where I don't care if Beyonce or Solange call me, and even the manager Blue, if they call me and tell me to delete whatever or don't say whatever, I'm going to say whatever I want to say because you are my child and I am tired of these MF people coming for you. This is what I imagine Tina Knowles was feeling when she wrote this, because she wrote a very long statement defending her child. And I get it.
Polish her craft, take vocal lessons, dance lessons, sacrifice, focus, train, and mind her business, and does not mess with anybody. She sticks close to her family. She never gossiped or put anybody else down to make herself feel better. She never wasted time on being jealous. She was taught very early on that her time and energy could be better used to focus on herself, to practice and perfect her craft. She complimented others and remained humble. She was inspired and respectful and paid homage to those great artists that came before her. She gave back to her community. And this is where it gets really juicy. She has never used anyone else's name to get publicity or attention for herself. No one lives rent-free in her head because she is obsessed with them or jealous of them. She has also never, in caps, constantly criticized others' looks, talents, and character. Has never lied on or started false rumors about others. Has never started one-sided beefs with anyone to get her name on mainstream media outlets or be relevant or in the current news. She chose to rely on her talent and hard work and her own name. But if she has helped you to stay relevant or get your name in the press, I'm very happy she could help you. You're welcome. God bless. Tina. Here she comes with a disclaimer. P.S. If you haven't done any of these things, then this does not apply to you. But if the shoe fits, I'm sure we will be hearing from you. 10, 9, 8. It's the countdown for me. 7, 6.
Tina Knowles is saying a hit dog will holler. A hit dog will holler, and we'll see who jumps out there. I checked Nicki Minaj to see if she had anything to say, because, you know, she had something to say, whether something applies to her or not, and she's still just out there talking about Jay-Z as recently as the last 24 hours, but, you know, it had a little something to it, but I don't think it was connected to what Beyonce's mama was saying.
Tina! Maybe did y'all see this caption that Tina didn't put under one of these posts? Let's read,
but, you know, like I
said. So she took time to big up Beyonce.
I understand where Tina Knowles is coming from. I know she says she has spoken out about how she gets in trouble when she does things like this with Beyonce, because Beyonce would prefer that she don't say anything at all. But if any of you out there are mothers, you already know. This woman is probably restraining herself so much that every now and then, you're going to get this work. Every now and then, you're going to get this work now. Because at the end of the day, this is her daughter, and it's a bit much. It's just a bit much. All right, let's go to our next story.
Nothing beats a Jet2 holiday. And right now, you can save £50 per person. That's £200 off for a family of 4.
Let me just say, I love the support that our community is giving to Shadur Sanders. I love it. It is overwhelming, from the people who want to see him succeed, the people who are praying for him to succeed, you know, the people who are just wishing the best for the Sanders family as a whole, especially with Dion going through what he has been recently going through, and him talking with us about his cancer diagnosis. Also wanting to see Shiloh do well with Tampa Bay. But Shadur, the one they screwed over in the draft to get back at his father, the one who has been in training camp as a 5th rounder, getting few reps, not seeing much daylight at all. Not really. Okay. That one, the one who has been humble, who has been nothing but a class act going through what he has went through. Because you must admit, for a lot of people, this could have been a crash out situation. But he has not done that. Okay. So when I see the people, and not just people within our community, but when I see the large amount of people rooting for Shador, it makes me happy. It makes me happy. It makes me happy that he has the number one selling rookie jersey this year. That makes me happy. I'm definitely going to be one of those sales because I need to get one of those for sure. So I just love this video because that joy is something that I think we are definitely feeling, and especially when we saw him play so well.
Nothing beats a Jet 2 holiday. And right now, you can save £50 per person. That's £200 off for a family of 4.
Yeah.
Nothing beats it.
When we saw Shador play well the other night in the preseason opener, I mean, you think about that. You go from getting very few reps in practice because you're a 5th round draft pick. You're not a 5th round draft pick by skill, but you know the situation. So you're getting very few reps. You get the, get out there in the preseason opener and you get to, see how you do because the other quarterbacks are injured. Flacco, who's the veteran, who's probably going to be the starting quarterback for Cleveland. He's a vet. So, a lot of the vets don't play or play very little in preseason, So Flacco wasn't going to play in that game. The other quarterbacks are injured. So it's kind of like next man up, and that happens to be Shador. But I am so happy for the people who are, again, celebrating, pouring support, pouring all kind of positivity in the Shador. And like LeBron James said, we're not going to say, oh, it was just a preseason game. So, don't put much stock in that, because if Shador had went out there in that preseason game and stunk up the place, all the haters would be like, well, see, there it is. Y'all always trying to make something about race. There it is. He's not a good quarterback. Look how much he sucked. Those people would have never said, hey, it's just a preseason game. He's a rookie. He has a lot to learn. He hasn't had a whole lot of reps. So let's give it some time. They would have never said that. So we are going to celebrate that in that preseason opener against Carolina, that Shador performed well. We're going to celebrate that. Okay, next story. And this is not a story. This is just joy. They said Disney had a Kendrick Lamar night. That is crazy. That is crazy. So they had a Kendrick Lamar night supposedly at Disney, and Woody is getting it in, y'all. And I just thought this was just pure joy, just more positivity around Kendrick Lamar, of course. And so I just loved seeing Woody really jam out to a Kendrick Lamar song. Y'all, I don't know. I'm gonna tell you. This is supposedly a Kendrick Lamar night at Disneyland. Now, I don't know, because they played the curse word, so I don't know if is this Disney for real, or I don't know. But either way, Woody is somewhere dancing to a Kendrick Lamar song, and I loved it. Pure joy. Pure joy. So in other Kendrick news,
Netflix announced the new cast.
Let's go back here. The Meet the Grams song that was produced, or the beat was provided by Alchemist. When he talked about that earlier, he said that beat was originally It's supposed to be for a gospel song. What I thought he meant when I first heard him say that, when shortly after Meet the Grams came out, is that it was a beat that he had created for a gospel artist. It's what I thought he was saying, but no. The sample that he used for Meet the Grams, as spooky and as scary as that sample is, that sample was actually taken from a gospel song, a gospel album by this group Timothy Carpenter, and it's not Trinity, it's like Trinity. Um so the sample was actually taken from that song. I listened to the whole song, and it's no it's an instrumental on their gospel album, but I just thought that was interesting because if you know how Meet the Grams hit most of us, it was very interesting to see that this was actually a real gospel song that was sampled. I can't, knowing that that was an actual gospel song, I just can't hear that anymore. All I can hear now from that sample, and I guess that's what happens most often when people use samples. Sometimes you forget about the original if you knew it. I just can't see this as anything else but horror associated with Drake. That's that's all I can hear when I hear this. So, and I'm trying to think, okay, this was an instrumental song on the Sweeter Gospel album, and it was an album I think released in 1974. And I'm like, what mood were they trying to set for that song in a gospel setting? I I don't know, but I just thought that was interesting. And I think this is our final story, perhaps. Let's see.
Announced the new cast of their Netflix announced the new cast of their A Different World sequel.
So, A Different World, we've heard about the reboot for a while on Netflix. That was announced earlier this year and had not seen a whole lot on it. They talked about having some of the past people connected with the original show still being involved, but I had not heard a whole lot about what was going on with the reboot. And I will tell you quite frankly, the reboot of A Different World makes me nervous because Netflix failed, in my opinion, with the reboot of Good Times, and Steph Curry was involved with that, and maybe he should not have been. I think it's something that no, it's almost like a Drake move on that, like no, because some of the choices with what the characters did and said, I'm like no. And so A Different World, that's one of our treasures. It's one of our treasures. And it, it just makes me nervous because you don't want to see somebody screw up a classic. Like Fresh Prince of Bel-Air and the Bel-Air reboot, that was well done, but it wasn't how could I explain it? I think of course it went from what we saw with the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, but there was still a lot of differences in it that were very interesting, and just I like Bel-Air. I like Bel-Air a lot. I just don't know about this reboot of A Different World. Now, am I going to watch it? I am absolutely going to watch this. But it does make me nervous because this is one of our classics. It's almost like how I felt when I heard they were redoing The Color Purple or doing Color Purple, the musical, the one with Fantasia. I was like, why though? Why? The Color Purple is a classic. Why do we need to do anything else with it? Why? Now, I went to see The Color Purple with Fantasia and I actually enjoyed it, but if I never had that, I would have been fine with never having that either. So, and you can see from some of the comments over here on the side, somebody said, we don't need a sequel. Please hire young screenwriters. I don't see this being a good show. The original has the bar entirely too high. So we're gonna take a listen at what the person is saying here about the different world that hopefully is coming on Netflix this fall. So let's just see. And the story is supposedly following Whitley's and Dwayne's youngest daughter going to an HBCU. Last thing I had heard is that they weren't sure if they were going to still use Hillman as the college, but it was definitely going to be HBCU. So let's just take a
Okay,
listen.
introduce me to some new faces. Now, I do know Melissa's their A Different World sequel pilot. I want to emphasize that it is the Netflix announced the new cast of their A Different World sequel pilot. I want to emphasize that it is the pilot. There is no series order for this, which is kind of different. Netflix normally orders a series order to something, but I think they understand the importance of A Different World. I also think they are trying to make sure that they do not go the same route they did with Good Times, because I still don't understand why anybody thought that was a good idea. And they just want to make sure that they are continuing the legacy and they're not messing it up. So I think that's why they're giving us this pilot and not just giving us a series order. But before you even get to cast or any of that, understand that it has the same DNA as the original one. So the project does come from Felicia Pride, who is the writer and executive producer of the sequel, but Debbie Allen's attached to it. Tom Warner, Gina Prince Bythewood, Reggie Bythewood, and Mandy Summers, who was a part of the original series, are all a part of this. So it's giving legacy up and down throughout it. But getting into the cast, I don't really know many of these actors and actresses, but I love this. Okay, introduce me to some new faces. Now, I do know Malia Joy Moon. I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly, because she was in Hell's Kitchen. And I do know Elijah Kai Higgins because that's Tashina Arnold's daughter, and she's been in a few projects. But for the most part, I don't know many of these faces, but I love that for me. Okay, introduce me to some new talent. If this show ends up having the legacy that A Different World has, that means that these names will be the next household names that we know. You know what I'm saying? What we do know about this is it's going to center on Dwayne Wayne and Whitley's daughter, Deborah, played by Malia Joy Moon, and her journey in college and everything. But also, we don't know if it's going to be at Hillman College. And for me, do not put it at Hillman College. I think because HBCUs exist and we have Howard, Hampton, Spelman, where we
I don't know. I don't have a passionate feeling about whether it should be at a fictional HBCU like Hillman or a real HBCU. I don't really have a strong opinion on that one way or the other. I can tell you though, as anxious as I am about this reboot not being good, it does kind of make me feel maybe hopeful because of so many of the people who were connected to the original show being connected to this reboot. So maybe that is a little bit of insurance that they're not going to screw this up. We'll have to see though. We'll have to see if that bears out or not. And it is kind of
have
cool
so
that
many, we can set this at another fictional college or university, right? So I'm on board with it not being at Hillman. I think Hillman is for the 90s, but this new version has to be, inspire the next generation. I don't know how I feel about it, but I love the casting. So we're going to rock out. It's just a pilot. What could really go wrong? Anyway, what's your take on the casting? How do you feel about this sequel? I will see you in the comment section. Netflix announced the new.
So there it is. Netflix introduced a new cast. I'm really happy to see Tashina Arnold's daughter also being a part of this. That's great. We will see, y'all. We will see because the reboot is a very hit or miss thing, and quite honestly, I feel like often it is a miss. It's almost like when an exceptional movie has one too many sequels. So I don't know. Like I said, I am very hopeful that because Debbie Allen and some of the other original people connected to A Different World will still be involved in this show, that will increase the odds that we could get something that is worthy of a reboot of A Different World. I'm assuming we're going to get to see the actors who played Whitley and Dwayne Wayne on here. I started to say Dwayne Wade, Dwayne Wayne on the reboot since it's their daughter who's going off to college. So we'll probably get to see them a little bit. And so we will see. Fingers crossed, fingers crossed, fingers crossed. Let's hope all goes well because again, this is one of our classics. this is one of our classics, and we don't really like people tampering with our classics, you know, and then it be something screwed up. Uh, so that yeah, that's all. That's all. So thank you guys for sitting here with me and going through this live. I want to start doing these type of lives more often. I am very rusty at it. Not even rusty, that's the wrong word. I am very new at it. So I'll get better with time. But I hope you enjoyed the stories I selected. If you have any feedback, any ideas, any thoughts, any views on the stories that were shared, please drop them in the comments. Thumbs up the video would be also greatly appreciated. If you are not a subscriber, please consider subscribing to the channel. I would appreciate y'all's support. Hope y'all have a fabulous, fabulous week. And until the next time, bye y'all.